chances are if you're here, you're either reading a book by Dr. Benjamin Hardy or you're evaluating his rapid transformation class and or course, some adaptation of it in the future. It's existed in a couple iterations to this point. I took the Q2 rapid transformation class in 2024, and I wanted to just give a quick review of it. Now, before I jump in, I will say my bias is that I love the guy. I think he's amazing as a human being. I just really relate to him. His challenges growing up and like the things he had to go through, his background in industrial organizational psychology, which is a passion of mine. I have a lot of respect for him. And so my bias is going to be towards supporting him. I find so much value in a lot of his content. I've gotten so much value from it. And so take from that what you will. I will be critical of a couple pieces, but let's jump right in. So Q2 Rapid Transformation, I'm sure the course, if you're watching this from some future state or if you're an alien, it will have changed over time. And so I'm sure he will adapt it and modify certain pieces, but this is how it was for the Q2 and I believe also the previous class. I don't know if he did a Q1, but I think he did a Q4 of 2023. So the structure is the recommended structure. I'm going to give you some information that may not even be on the landing page, which is prep. So number one is like prepare yourself for the class. The way that I was told to do this, because I reached out to some of his team before even purchasing it, they said, listen, it makes sense to read Be Your Future Self Now or 10X is Easier Than 2X or both if you have the time before you take the class. Now, at the time of recording this, Ben has another book that's coming out. We, as a part of the class, signed an NDA, even though we've read pieces and portions of that book. I can't really mention it, but I do believe that he's going to have a new book coming out in 2024, towards the end of this year or the beginning of next year. And that will be immensely helpful too. So prep, Be Your Future Self Now, 10X is Easier Than 2X, and then potentially this future book that's coming out. So that's the first piece of structure. The second piece is it's typically a video that will come out on Monday. So Ben will send a training video, some kind of course, like through his course platform. It's like 10 usually to 30 minutes. It can kind of span depending on what the topic is. And so you'll get that video and then there will be a homework, like a submission for you. So between Monday and Thursday night, really, you'll want to submit that. And usually it's a journal entry. So it's some sort of reflecting back on the week, reflecting back, like if you're starting this, let's say it's Q3 Rapid Transformation 2024. So the next one is starting, let's say, you would be reflecting on how did the first quarter go? How did it go till 2024? What are your goals? Like how you kind of reflecting and journaling on those things. So you'll do that on Monday. There'll be a submission on Monday. And that usually will take somewhere between 30 minutes to an hour, depending on how many journal questions he has and how long his video is. Occasionally for us, we did have Thursday calls. I think they were supposed to be more consistent, but we had a decent amount of them. And what would happen is, of the 300 or whatever many people were in the class, there's hundreds of people in the class, some, maybe 20 of them would be selected for this call on Thursday. And there would be a smaller, more intimate gathering of people being coached by Ben, which was really cool because you got to see questions that you probably would have asked. And then, you got to see people ask those and get answers that were really valuable. And it's this more intimate coaching session, so he could spend more time with each person in that than we would have on our Friday call, which I'm going to get to in a second. So the occasional Thursday calls were awesome. We didn't have them consistently, I think, because Ben's in the middle of writing this book and his team is moving around and there's all kinds of parts and pieces and things going on in his life, that wasn't the most consistent. So I could be critical of that. But I did get value out of the ones that we did that were recorded, because they are recorded for the whole group. They get uploaded to the course portal. And so even if you're not selected to be on that call, you can still get value out of it. So the Friday call is the all hands call. Again, it's pre-recorded so everyone can see it afterwards. And this is cool because we do a little bit of live journaling, and then there will be some live coaching, which is, again, to me, that's the most valuable part because people are going to ask questions that you probably have. And so I really enjoyed the Friday call. I spoke on a couple of them. I would say there's a decent amount of people that never speak altogether. There's some people that never join those calls, which is so weird to me. There's a lot of people that I know that didn't do the Monday homework. For our particular cohort, we had accountability partners, which was really helpful for me, and I really enjoyed that. Okay, so now the critical stuff. I would say, that covers the structure. You have Monday, you have this Thursday thing, you have Friday, and then you have some prep. before you even join the course. Other than that, it's a lot of journaling. Like every week, it's a lot of journaling, and the journal questions are very similar. And so for me, I think, again, you have to evaluate like what's behind your frustrations or what's behind whatever you think it is that you know. But after doing that for the first couple weeks, I would get so frustrated. But then as I pushed, I would find new information. I would reveal different things. And so the journaling felt mundane and frustrating to me, but the more that I pushed through it, the more I was able to find certain things and get value and continue to squeeze juice. And so that one's a balance for me, because if I think if you go in with the mindset that Ben is going to transform your life and do all this work for you, and it's like it's all implementation, like he's going to open the doors to your brain and just put this stuff in there, that's not how it's going to be. You're going to have to do this on your own, and the process by which you do that is the journaling. So I would mention that. I would say overall it felt a little bit disorganized. And Ben, even, he talked about this at the end. He apologized to us just because there was so much going on this particular time. He's going through an adoption, he's writing this book, and he's doing this class. And so he was really forthright and forthcoming in that. And I wouldn't say overwhelmingly so. I just would say marginally there was a couple things, like some of the Thursday calls that didn't happen, or like certain things that were a little confusing. But everyone still that I spoke to, like, and I've spoken to many people from the class, I would say that overwhelmingly people feel like they got the return on their investment. I would say that I did as well. It's not cheap, but I would say probably in my first 30 days, I felt like I had that. So yeah, overall, like, I would definitely take the class again, because it's easy for people to look at the cost of action, the cost of taking action, the cost of investment, right? It's like thousands of dollars for a thing. It's a lot more expensive than one of his books. But how long? What's the cost of inaction for you? For me, I got to one really big conclusion that it took me a year, and I'm like spinning my wheels and trying to figure this thing out. And within 30 days, I was able to get some ideas around that thing and to lock it down and be like, okay, this is the thing. So it's like, for me, it was 12 months or 30 days. Like, I would pay thousands of dollars to save myself another 11 months any day. And so you will probably have some breakthrough along those lines. And so I think just on the basis of that alone, for me, it was worth it. I can always go back to the course and replay it. You have the course, in the long term. And so you can go back through it and run through it again. I also think the value of the people that Ben attracts is, I've said this about Myron before, I'll say it about Ben as well. The value, the caliber, the quality of the people that he attracts are top notch. Like, I will say our Facebook group did, like many of them do, get kind of self-promotional and kind of cringe. But for the most part, even the people that were a little cringe and self-promotional, they're really kind-hearted, they're really sweet, and I don't know if they notice, and they're genuinely just trying to help other people. And so I really liked that part of it. I really like that he draws in a crowd of like really wholehearted, good, talented, smart, kind people that are really delightful to be around. And so that's unique to me, because I don't think many other classes and courses draw in that. I think there's a lot of like junk that I've seen in some of the courses I've been in. So would I do it again? Yes. Would I recommend it? Yes. Would I recommend any of Ben's books? Yes. It may Ben have a lot going on because he's working on being his future self and he's working on impossible goals. And so does that mean that it's going to be the perfect course structure for you? No, because he lives by his principles first, and these things in the book that he teaches first, and then, the course, and after his family and his goals and the things that he has going on, the course and us and the team, you kind of get what's left over. But what's left over is still really valuable and still very much worth it. And so I would encourage you to consider it. And yeah, I don't know. I hope this video helps, and I'll see you guys in the next one.